I was recently able to scratch off take a trip to Scotland off of my bucket list, but it didn't go according to plan. First of all, it was actually my daughter's dream trip, and I just kind of tagged along with her. She had been planning it for quite some time. How long, I don't really know. But I remember telling her that when you go, I would like to go with you. One, I didn't want her to go by herself. And two, I would just really like to go. I've never been, and I would like to go. So a week before she's departing, I find out she had already booked her tickets. So my husband gets online and books tickets for me. They are not together. We're not flying together. We're not on the same airlines. Nothing's together. But we would end up together in Scotland. So that's what we did. I spent an entire week frantically getting ready. I had to find luggage that would fit both airlines that I was going to be taking. And that was a challenge in and of its own. I won't go into it here to save time, but I did manage to get a week's worth of travel into a very tiny carry-on luggage. So the day comes and we get to the airport. Our plan is to kind of hang out together and wait for our respective flights. We're both on the same airlines for the first flight, and then it switches after that. So we're kind of just, that's our plan. We get to the airport, we get in line. The check-in for myself goes like butter, no problem. Very smooth, very easy, hardly an inconvenience. Julia gets up there to check in to her airline, well, same airline, but she gets the news that she's not on the plane that is getting ready to take off in like 2 hours. So she kind of panics. Tears were shed. I tried to comfort her. I encouraged her to get on the phone to find out what happened with her tickets. I am not leaving without her. I'm not going to go to Scotland and be like, hey, nice trip. I'm all by myself in Scotland. No, thank you. That's not the plan. So she gets on the phone. I call my husband. My husband comes back to the airport. We are in the car on the way home. She's still on the phone with the people. Turns out someone had changed her flight without telling her to a completely different airline. And while we were standing in line getting ready to check in, that airplane was actually taking off at that very moment. So she definitely missed her flight, and it wasn't her fault. Someone else did it, and we don't know who it was, but they made it right. So they told her, we can fly you out tomorrow, and they made the arrangements. My husband does a U-turn. I go back to the airport. I get on my flight to Seattle, and then from Seattle, I'm flying to Heathrow Airport, London. My flight from Seattle to Heathrow Airport in London was about 9 hours long. And if you've ever taken that flight, then from Seattle to Heathrow Airport is about 9 hours, maybe a little longer. I'm flying at night, so I think, okay, great, I'm going to get some sleep. Wrong. I did not get any sleep, not even 5 minutes of sleep. First of all, I was sat next to the lavatory and right next to the curtain that divided my section from the other section. So every time one of the flight attendants came through that curtain, I got smacked in the head with the curtain, and it was not enjoyable, to say the least. Also, my chair took about 3,000 pounds of pressure just to push the button to let it recline or incline. And I am not strong enough to push that button. So I was constantly having to ask for help, and usually a lady would come over, but she would always have to go get a gentleman to come and help me with my chair. It was very embarrassing. I was not very happy, but it's okay. I made it. I made it to Heathrow Airport, which is a completely different story, and I'm not going to tell that one here, but just know that I have such a deep appreciation for the way America handles certain things. That airport itself was probably one of the worst experiences I've ever had at an airport. And I've been to several airports, but for some reason, that was just the worst experience. And I don't blame the people. I just blame the systems that they have set up there. It wasn't pleasant for me in any way, shape, or form. And I was exhausted. Maybe that played a role. I don't know. I don't think so, because I kind of was running on adrenaline by then because I had another flight to catch, and I almost didn't catch it because of the way that airport is set up. Anywho, this is the first page for this trip in my journal that I did, and you can feel free to pause and zoom in and read the little journal entry that I wrote. My challenge to myself was to journal on a single page and not to exceed a page, but I did in fact exceed a page, and I had to use that postcard as part of my journal entry. I hope that you liked this story, and if you'd like to hear more stories, leave a comment down below, and I will be happy to tell you the stories of the rest of my trip, because we had many adventures on this trip, and I would be happy to share them. So, if you would like to see a video where I flip through a completed composition notebook, feel free to click the link and go check that out. Please subscribe. It helps me so much. And yeah, leave a comment down below and let me know some of your traveling woes. And I will talk to you later. Bye.